This is what Libyans are seeing on their strictly controlled state television. Images of adoring supporters chanting for their long-serving leader with almost religious fervour and devotion. But the internet is full of pictures of people in open revolt on the streets of Libya's two largest cities. The news trickling out of this closed country is impossible to verify, but it seems efforts to oust Gaddafi are coming at a terrible human cost.
There are plenty of them, maybe more than 200. I'm not sure about the correct number. All the hospitals are full of, dead bodies. Even the fridges are full. So we used some schools next to Jalal Hospital, so they empty them and they put some, all the dead bodies that, Jalal Hospital didn't, get because of, the full amount of bodies came yesterday.
We've had 14 deaths in Tripoli, 84 in Benghazi, so we see the mass media exaggerating. People from outside Libya, with coordination from some channels, talk as if they were in Libya.
Mass protests have already forced out long-serving autocrats in Egypt to the east and Tunisia to the west. The speed and determination of the protests shocked observers, and the fact they've now spread to Libya, with its record for repression matched only perhaps by Saudi Arabia, is even more surprising.
Awful, poor, terrible, perhaps one of the worst in the Middle East. Gaddafi's very much a strongman, very much a powerful dictator, and, the human rights abuses that occur in Libya are, without parallel.
The threat to the regime is serious enough that Gaddafi's son and anointed heir appeared on television warning the protesters to return home.
This could cause civil war, and we will repeat the civil war of 1936. Libya is not Tunisia or Egypt. Libya has got oil, which has united the whole of Libya, and this is one of the main reasons Libya was united.
Since seizing power 42 years ago, Gaddafi developed a cult of personality and has ruled Libya with an iron fist ever since.
Gaddafi came to power in 1969 in a coup, a military coup. The king was out of town and some military officers got together, denounced that the monarchy was over, put the crown prince under house arrest, and that was it.
A nationalist with socialist tendencies, Gaddafi soon earned the ire of the West. A number of bombings and assassinations in Europe led to US President Ronald Reagan sending in jets to bomb Gaddafi's palace in Tripoli in 1986. When Gaddafi was blamed for the Lockerbie bombing in Scotland in 1987, which killed 270 people, he became public enemy number one.
He certainly was. Reagan had a sort of a personal fixation on Gaddafi. He called him the mad dog of the Middle East and said that it was full of misfits and Looney Tunes, I think the greatest number since the Third Reich. He sort of, was the enemy number one right up until sort of 1991, and Saddam kind of eclipsed Gaddafi.
Gaddafi was frozen out of world affairs, but still enjoyed a remarkably high profile. His flamboyant outfits have been chronicled in Vanity Fair, and he became famous for his troupe of female bodyguards.
He does like the ladies. He chooses to have female bodyguards because he believes that they are stronger than men, that they can, stand in, the hot sun during a parade and be alert the whole time and will protect him. And they were labelled his corps of revolutionary nuns.
Libya's 20 years of isolation ended with a desert meeting in his Bedouin tent with then British Prime Minister Tony Blair. He agreed to pay reparations to the families of the Lockerbie victims, gave up his plans to acquire weapons of mass destruction, and was soon welcomed in from the cold by a series of Western leaders. However, his recent bloody crackdowns again have governments around the world condemning his regime.
We want to make clear to the Libyan government that just because there aren't television cameras present at the scenes that are going on in Libya, that does not mean that the world is not watching. That doesn't mean that the world is going to ignore the way in which protesters and demonstrators are treated.
And even without foreign media, that's beginning to become clear. Late today, grainy, shaky pictures were posted on YouTube, which protesters claim show them throwing rocks at a sniper, underscoring the difficulty of getting their message to the outside world. In contrast, the government released professionally shot material of a pro-Gaddafi rally. Gaddafi's control of information and the military mean protesters still have a major task to break his stranglehold on power.
I think if Gaddafi can ride out for the next 10 days, then the protesting will sort of cease. As the body count piles up, it will discourage further protests. So the next 5 to 10 days, I say, are key.